Hi, I'm Scott Hamilton, ROCKFILE, back with another podcast review for your ears. I finally saw Freaky. If you don't know what this movie is about, you know, it's part comedy, part horror movie, just watch it. Rent it, whatever. Stream it. The prices come down. You could buy it. Oh, sorry, I got a dog trying to get in my lap. Okay. So this came out during the pandemic back in November. It's Christopher Landon's movie. Yes, he's Michael Landon's son. He's written quite a few horror movies in the paranormal Activity series. He's also worked on some other horror movies. And it was announced that he was going to make this movie with Universal Pictures and Blumhouse Productions. Jason Blum produced it. It's a great idea. It really is. Take the Freaky Friday Disney idea, but make it between a girl and a serial killer. If they didn't have the right people playing the roles, this movie wouldn't have worked at all. And I'm telling you right now, the short version is watch it for Vince Vaughn. He's great. I mean, I'm a fan, but he's also become one of those actors who is one note in a lot of movies because that's what's required of him. This one requires him to act, and he does a fantastic job. Catherine Newton as Millie. I honestly didn't like her when she was herself, so to speak, the character of Millie. I don't know. She played it very stereotypically, but also this is a movie that takes a while to set up everybody's mannerisms, so to speak, so that they can play with those mannerisms later in the movie. It all kind of makes sense. And even at a little over 90 minutes, almost 100 minutes, it's a hair too long. Feels like the endings drag out a little bit more than they need to. And it feels like we spend way too much time in the beginning. We spend over 30 minutes, a third of the film, before we actually get to the switcheroo. And again, I understand plot development-wise why we need to establish the characters before we switch the characters so we can tell the difference in the acting and all that. I do totally understand. It just felt like it could have been sped up quite a bit. We concentrated on a few things. We're like, yeah, I get this is going to be important later. But anyway. Alan Ruck. You remember him from Ferris Bueller's Day Off and many other movies. He's in this and not exactly a nice woodshop teacher. And there's a few other small actors, actresses you've seen in other things, but this is really the Vince Vaughn, Catherine Newton show, and as it should be. When the movie was over, I liked it. I had a good feeling about it. I thought it was well directed, well made. It was just short of great to me. I've waited so long. So many people have talked this up to me, and I did really enjoy it. Don't take it the wrong way. I thoroughly enjoyed the 100 minutes I spent with it. Didn't pause it, didn't check my watch or my phone. I really enjoyed the movie for what it was. But my personal taste run more towards Ready or Not, which is a comedy horror movie that pushes the horror elements to the edge. And this kind of did in a few places, but it also feels like a Blumhouse production where you know the budget was like $6 million and they're doing the best with what they got. Again, I'm not trying to criticize the movie for that. It was a very good and very entertaining movie, and I'm glad somebody attempted this and pulled it off. It would be interesting if there was some kind of sequel, but it does have an ending and doesn't need to be. But it would be interesting. Of all the series that become mythology series, trilogies, whatever, I would rather see another Freaky before I watch another Paranormal Activity or something like that. I like horror comedies. This is just short of being quintessential classic horror comedy from American Werewolf in London all the way up to Ready or Not. It belongs in the same conversation, but I would recommend those two movies as being funnier. But this is a more modern film. The kids today are not going to love American Werewolf in London like we do. They will love this. And I heard from some younger people that actually really enjoyed this movie. I liked it. It's well done. Vince Vaughn makes the movie. He's freaking amazing when he's Millie. I mean, both, and Catherine, like I said in the beginning, I just thought she played a very stereotypical nerdy type wishy-washy character who's going to, find herself by the end of the movie. I get that part. But once she had to channel Vince Vaughn, she's flippin' amazing, and I see why she got the job. The first, she's got like one word, but the look on her face and how she utters that word is like, wow, Vince Vaughn is in her. Vince almost had an easier job because he can play a very broad female character, but he very much played the actress Catherine Newton and the Millie character throughout his entire run as being her, or, her having her in his body. But Catherine just took me by surprise because I just wasn't impressed with her performance until she did the switcheroo. And then once she had to be him, I was like, wow, she nails it. And she did a good job with the jumping back and forth and stuff. It's got some interesting twists. It is funny throughout. It is interesting throughout, and there's some pretty good kill scenes, especially in the opening. If you're looking for a horror movie that has those old-style 80s kills, this is it. I mean, he plays Jason. They just can't call him Jason, and he's unstoppable and just finding creative ways. He kills a guy with a wine bottle and stuff, and it's very interesting. So it does have quite a bit of violence, R-rated violence, but it is also a comedy that's played well, and it's also a very heartfelt kind of coming-of-age story by the end of it. So he really tried to tackle a lot in a little over 90-minute movie and succeeded. I think it's one of the better movies of 2020, and I'm glad I saw it, and I will add it to my collection because it is something I'm like, you guys need to see this. But again, it would be right after Ready or Not, which I thought was a better blend of comedy and horror. At least I found it funnier, but again, it was probably more targeted at me than this was. But I really liked Freaky. If you think this sounds like something you would like, a serial killer and a high school student switch bodies, they take it to all the places you want it to go, and it is very funny, and the horror is pretty well done, too. It was a good flick. I enjoyed Freaky. So check it out. It's streaming now. I'm Scott Hamilton, ROCKFILE. My website is therockfile.com. Please check it out. Like, subscribe, share, and thank you so much for listening.